Slowly but surely it's being cut down, but we still have a lot of pool tables. I don't know if there's any ping pong down there. Is there any ping pong down there anymore?
Yes. Yeah.
They do have some? Yeah. And then the rifle range, I guess, is we still have that. That's still going. Yeah. You know, so the basement still looks, you know, some of the other things have taken over. The bookstore, the big bookstore on the north end, rather than, you know, and now they even got some things down below down here. But there's a lot of different things that have been added down there and changed. And the computer, a lot of computer facilities in that particular area down there that slowly but keep pushing back. There is no longer a senior smoker though.
And no longer a sophomore junior smoker either. The faculty smoker's gone also.
Well, the freshman smoker was in the back of the rifle range.
And other places in the building.
We advertise all the time. We had an opportunity with our new advertising campaign to get some recordings. If you've been able to hear them, Father Jim Knapp does a beautiful one. I say he's got a fantastic radio voice now at Kendrick Seminary. And one of our recent grads, and also a parent who's the president at Children's Hospital, been airing on KMOX recently. So it's just a different format. When I came here a number of years ago, we started advertising in St. Louis Magazine. We hadn't done that previously. It's looking for, you know, the demographic that doesn't know about St. Louis U High. We all do. We love it. We're thrilled in terms of the students who come in every year. Our enrollment is healthy, you know, but there's still folks in the city who either you know, haven't heard of us, haven't come up through the same systems. We look at our demographic that comes in from different school systems, unlike the parochial schools that so many of you came from. That's a different demographic for us that we would try and reach, or people who are just coming into the city new. So I think there's a number of reasons why we've looked at that. And, you know, certainly looking for people's thoughts and feedback on those. That's why they're up on the website too. Give them a listen. If you haven't heard them yet, you can just click on and listen right to them. So the demographic, you know, if you're familiar with the way the admissions is run in the city of St. Louis, they still apply through the Archdiocese. I'm from the East Coast originally, and the schools I worked at would get 700 or 800 applicants for 280 spots. We get about 400 and, I'm sorry, we should get about 370 completed applications that we'll whittle down to about 290 acceptances, and then 280 or so are what shows up through the front door. You get very little attrition at the end. In other words, they've told you, they've self-selected. They've told you, we're coming. So that's the nice part, is when you generate those applications. But we also work really closely with the Archdiocese to make sure that we know what our traditional feeder schools enrollment looks like. And if their enrollment is decreasing, which in some of them it is, and some of those traditional feeder schools are not with us now, then we'll look to what's the new avenue? What are the new places where those students might come from? School continues to be, you know, 85% Catholic in terms of our student enrollment, and about that same percentage coming out of the Catholic parochial elementary, Catholic archdiocesan schools that you're familiar with, and I think that's a number that we've been able to maintain.
We'd really try to keep up with the latest as to what's out there. All of our classrooms now have smart boards. Our teachers are using those on a regular basis. We will also have, right now there's a committee formed by members of every department that are looking into, you know, iPads, what they can do, how, you know, what is there a time when we're going to go one-on-one. We decided back a few years ago when some of the schools were going to, you know, everybody brings a computer into class, that wasn't exactly what we wanted. We still wanted our interaction between the faculty and the students to be that human interaction, but we then said we will have computers available at all times, at any time they're needed in the classroom. So we do have carts of computers that we can bring into the classroom at any time. So the technology, we're up there with whatever's going on, but you know, it changes by the minute, and we're always trying to keep up with what's the latest, but then we weigh it before we just jump right in to see, is it something that's really going to make our situation better than what it has been in the past, or is this something that we're just jumping in because it's a fad at the moment?
Let me just add one quick comment to that, and that is that something I'm pretty proud of about St. Lucie, Tom touched on it, is that we're also thinking about how to help our students adjust to the pace of technology and keep a hold on focal awareness, on a discursive conversation, you know, on an ability to maintain a focus. If you're reading this sort of thing in the news, you're beginning to see the pendulum swing back now to recognizing some of the dark side of what this technology is doing to adolescent brains, for example. We've got a group of teachers who meet a couple of times during the school year just to keep that conversation going. How can we continue to watch our students interact with technology and encourage them, coach them to disconnect when that's the most appropriate way to learn and to live. So that's something that I'm happy to say we also do.
The board has actually made a commitment that there will be finances available for the students who need it. I mean, pretty much as tuition goes up, so does the financial aid. And so, you know, to actually come up with the dollar amount this year, but Mr. Laughlin maybe could tell us, it's over $3 million that we're giving out in financial aid this year for students. So pretty much the same. You know, I think it was the attitude for a long time that if a student can get in here academically, they're not going to be turned away because of need. We're going to really work with the family to try to make sure that we can meet their needs.
Yeah, that's a mantra actually I say at every high school night when we're out for admissions, and I know our admissions director says it as well. We accept students based on their ability to succeed, not their family's ability to pay.
Yeah. And you know, I know, like, guys, I know when you guys went to school here, you might have said, you know what, the guy sitting next to me, his father was an executive at Anheuser-Busch, and the guy sitting next to me to my left, his father or his mother drives a cab. That still is the way it is right now. Because of the generosity, that's still the way it is right now with the demographics. We still have someone whose dad or mom is an executive for Anheuser-Busch or Emerson, and someone whose mom or dad cleans hotel rooms every morning. So that's something we don't want to lose.
I won't do all the spreadsheets with you, but let me say this. We did a study about 5 years ago as a board and recognized a couple of things. We had a 34-year average tuition increase of 9.4%, not sustainable into the future. We had dropped in the number of percent of students who had aid accessible to them, and we're a school that does need blind and doesn't cap aid. So a lot of what we think it meant is that the middle class is getting pinched. If you're going to have larger awards to fewer kids, and that's the way that our trend was going. So we have just finished a path, if you will, of fiscal discipline over 5 years to raise tuition within those averages. Last year our tuition increase was just about 4%. And the good news is, because of the model and the discipline, we've gone from $800,000 in aid to $3.1 million, and we're in a model, I hope, of tuition increases that's in a lower consumer price index type model. And that, on the long-term trajectory of the school, ultimately makes our tuition lower than it would have been, even though right now, and we're still middle of the road in St. Louis, but we're 2 to 3 times what our peers are in terms of financial accessibility. This year in our school, 36% of our families are on assistance, and that's, I think, probably a high for many, many decades. And it means that we've tried to address the lower income and middle income families. It's a challenge for our future, and I'm not putting a pitch in to ask, but I want you to know we're good stewards of it. But that's directly what it goes to, is that kind of accessibility.